Welcome back to Game Galaxy, and Nintendo is back at it again with another stupid blunder. This time they're attacking Pokemon fans, and specifically a community of fans that like making their own fan-made Pokemon games. Now, this isn't necessarily attacking a single fan-made game, but rather a website and a community that offered resources such as graphics, images, music, and sound to be used in RPG Maker XP, which RPG Maker is specifically how they were using these assets to make these games. For those who don't know, RPG Maker is a series of game engines where you can create RPG games like Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy style, or even, in this case, Pokemon. And so they had all kinds of assets, like either that somehow they've lifted out of the game or recreated the look of it, like the houses, the grass graphics, and whatever. Because the way RPG Maker works is there is a scripting language underneath, but when you go to create your map or your game board, you are literally painting the scene with tiles. So you'll have these tiles or PNG files of different graphics that you can kind of slap down and paint the game world. And I guess Nintendo had a problem with there being Pokemon graphics there. And to me, this is just completely asinine and stupid. And I guess it's within their legal right to shut this down or whatever. So any of you out there that are thinking of typing that in the comments, save your breath. Because it doesn't matter if it's in their legal right. That doesn't mean it's a smart move. And I'm going to just say my stance on this, and I'll try to keep it short, is that they are not charging for any of these games. There's games that are out there that you can probably still find that are fan-made. Pokemon Uranium is one of those that was made with these graphics and a fan-made game. But these games were not charging for these graphics and sounds, and they were not charging for these games. They were literally labors of love of fans. And let me tell you something. I loved the Pokemon games on Game Boy, but I wouldn't call myself a hardcore, die-hard Pokemon fan, and I haven't played a Pokemon game in years. Therefore, because I haven't played a game in years, and I'm not necessarily planning on playing one in the future, just because a fan-made game exists doesn't mean I'm also going to play that. Because myself, I'm not particularly identifying as a hardcore Pokemon fan, so I'm not seeking this out. So what I'm saying is, if Nintendo somehow thinks fan-made games detract from their games and their sales, you guys are completely wrong. Because the kind of person that is going to seek out fan-made Pokemon game material is probably most likely 99.9% a Pokemon fan who is there day one buying your Pokemon games. They are the people, especially the people that are going to a community, a forum, a Wikipedia, and building and crafting these games. You have to be a hardcore fan. So those are the people that are buying your products. Those are the people that are gonna be there next time. And those are the people that you've literally slapped in the face and said, thanks for being a fan, but you know what? Stop it. Stop being a fan. Stop what you're doing. And it's so mind-numbingly stupid because, again, I'm not buying Pokemon games. I'm not looking for, to be true, I'm actually interested in the Switch one coming out, but besides that, it's like I don't seek out these games. Therefore, I'm not seeking out a fan-made, so you're not losing any money if that is their train of thought. So, yes, it may be in their legal right to do that, but you have to come back and look at it and how, you know what, why don't you just cultivate and encourage your audience? Nobody's doing anything bad here. They're not doing, making any pornographic material with your characters. It's just a labor of love of the franchise. Cultivate it. Use that. Maybe, just maybe, you take a look at some of the things that the fans are putting in the games that might not be features in your games. And hey, here's an idea. Maybe that's what they want, right? In the next one. So you take that feature that maybe a fan has implemented and you put it in your next game. And then you make the fans even more happy and they feel included. That just makes sense to me, But I don't know. I just picture the Nintendo's boardroom is full of old men and women that just do not understand the environment of that kind and the culture of that kind of thing. Now take Sega. A completely opposite company of Nintendo, right? Let's see how they treat fans and fan-made games. Does any of you remember Sonic Retro, an amazing little fan-made Sonic game? Well, guess what? That was made by someone named Christian Whitehead, which ultimately Sega ended up hiring. They said, hey, we saw what you did. We like what you did. Why don't you come on in and make us an awesome Sonic game? And that resulted in Sonic Mania, one of the greatest Sonic games we've got in a long time, and was a huge financial success for Sega. So hold on a minute. Nintendo would rather just shut down any fans making content rather than learn from it, take ideas from it, or possibly hire talent in this regard. No, they'd rather shut that down and slap them on the wrist for being fans. No, thank you. Whereas Sega saw an opportunity and value in a fan and said, you know what? You're doing some great work here. Why don't you come in? Let's cultivate and let's create something. And ultimately it turned into Sonic Mania, which absolutely is awesome, and we get more. And even before Sonic Mania, they brought him in. He brought Sonic CD to the iOS for Sega. They said, hey, you did a good job for that. Why don't you do Sonic 1? He brought that to the iOS. Sonic 2, he brought that to the iOS. Ultimately leading him to making a brand new Sonic game that people absolutely love. So I just think it's really, really stupid of Nintendo to just slap their fans like this. And I know if I was working on this, because here's the thing. Fan-made things, again, these people are doing this for free. They're doing it out of love. And RPG Maker, some of these games are riddled on Steam, so I know people have a bad attitude when it comes to RPG Maker, because you can easily publish your game and you're allowed to sell it, right? As long as you're not using assets such as Pokemon, for example. But regardless of the ease of just slapping stuff down and making a game and being able to sell it, making an actual good game, even though it's a simple game creation tool, still takes a lot of effort. I know firsthand. I hope, I don't know if I'll ever follow through with it, to be honest with you, but I would love to make an RPG in RPG Maker one day. It's a project of love in mine, just as a love letter to the kind of games I grew up playing, such as Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest, all that stuff. But I spent 55 hours logged on my Steam in RPG Maker MV, just futzing around and setting up little simple programmings, learning the program, drawing, doing all this stuff. I don't have a game yet, and my point is that's 55 hours. So it takes a lot of effort to make these things. And so if I was someone who, this is not my full-time job to make games, I'm doing this out of passion, of love, because I love Pokemon, and then Nintendo, someone who I love, just comes and slams it down with a hammer, that would crush my heart, man. It just would crush my heart, legal or not. And I don't actually understand if this in turns is legal. Maybe it's the fact that the graphics are being available as assets, and maybe that's the problem and breaking some kind of law. But how far does that line go? Is that actually illegal? Because at this point, where do you draw the line? Are you going to start attacking people on DeviantArt for their fan art? Oh, you can't draw Mario. That's our IP. That's our intellectual property. You can't draw Mario. Or you can't draw a Kirby or make a Kirby comic. No, cease and desist. Like, where do you draw the line of fans and fandom? And it's like, I just think it's absolutely stupid. I'm going to stop rambling because it makes me upset. And what makes me so upset is that, like, I love Sega. I'm a Sega fan. I would fight you on the playground for Sega over Nintendo, but at the same time, I also love Nintendo. They make great games. They make great experiences, and they're so much fun. And then, like, they're also just such buzzkills, man. And, so my heart goes out to the people at the Pokemon Essentials, is what it was called, community and the fan game community. My heart goes out to you guys. And it's a real pain that this happened to you guys. I hope you guys can continue and organize underground, continue to share assets, and continue to make fan games. Because you know what? That's what it's about, man. Just having fun. And Nintendo loves to kill fun.